warm welcome to everyone and Namaste. Today we are going to discuss yet another very important topic, that is about, does God exist? This is a $1 million question. Whole world people are questioning whether God does exist or not. So from today onwards, for next few episodes, we will try to understand this topic about the existence of God systematically, logically, with reasonable proofs and many scientific facts, and understand whether God exists or not. So let us explore what exactly it is all about. Now, when we see about atheism, many people claim that we are atheists, meaning we don't believe in God. And many claim we are theists, we believe in God, but none of them have a clear logical understanding about why they love God, or why they believe in God, or why they hate God or they don't believe in God. So let us try to understand some facts and figures. Now in the world, many people, when they fill up the form, they write whether are you a Christian, Muslim or a Hindu, or what exactly you are. Many people tick that I am an atheist. And many people claim that I am an atheist. And some people, they have undergone so many problems in their life, and they feel, because I am undergoing so many problems, that means there is no God. People claim publicly. Let us see some figures about atheism in the world. In the world, you see there are so many countries with the ratio of atheism being increasing every year after year. So quite astonishing. And without a God. So even if you take just one country, America, you can see 67% men they claim that they are atheists, meaning they don't believe in God. This statistics say more men than women are atheists. And another statistics say 62% of the youth who come under the age between 18 to 29, they claim themselves to be atheists. Now, let me tell you a story. One time, there was a very famous saint, very intelligent, a man with wisdom. He was living in Himalayas. And in one of the village, the head of the village, they met this sadhu or a saint. They invited him that please come to our village and enlighten all the people in the village. And the saint agreed, yes, I will come. So the saint arrived in the village, and before that, the entire village people, they had made a huge arrangement, a big pandal program they had organized for the sadhu to come and sit and give pravachan or talk about God. They had made a huge asan so that sadhu could sit on the top of the asan and see the entire crowd, because lakhs and lakhs of people had gathered. So the head of the villager, he went and received the sadhu, and he said, Sadhuji, Sadhu Maharaj, please come, sit on this big asan and take the mic and please speak about God. And the sadhu said, with pleasure. And the sadhu comes and sits on the huge asan, and lakhs of people have gathered, and the mic was given, and the organizer comes and garlands the speaker, the sadhu, the saint, and the saint takes the mic and opens his talk by asking one question to all the assembled people. The saint asks, how many of you believe in God? And everybody raised their hands. Swamiji, we believe in God, we believe in God, we believe in God. And the saint, the sadhu says, all of you, you believe in God, and what is the use of me coming here and speaking about God? That's okay, I'm living. And he gets down from the asan and he leaves. the place. And all the people were bewildered by seeing the action done by the sadhu. And the head of the people, they come, they meet together, they with great struggle tries to understand what exactly is happening to the sadhu, and they make a plan. Again we will invite him. If he asks the same question, we know what to do. I think by now all of you have understood what the plan is all about. The head of the village, Sarpanch, again he goes, convinces the sadhu to come back again and speak about God. And to the surprise of everyone, sadhu did come again. He sits on the asan, he was given the mic, the organizer puts him a garland, and the sadhu begins his talk by asking the same question. What is the question? How many of you present here believe in God? What happens? No one raised their hands. Everyone says, we don't believe in God, we don't believe in God. Then sadhu says, all of you, you are all atheists, you don't believe in God. And what is the use of me coming here? And if I associate with you people, I will also become an atheist. So better I will leave. And immediately sadhu leaves the place. Further, everyone are again bewildered. They didn't know what to do, because they were very adamant that they wanted to hear from sadhu, because he is a man with wisdom, but unfortunately he is not speaking. Again, all the head, they come together, they meet, and they make the final plan. This plan was like a checkmate to the sadhu. Now the sadhu cannot escape. I think all of you got the plan. Now, again, third time, they invite the sadhu. Sadhu comes, sits on the big asan, takes the mic, and asks the same question. How many of you believe in God? What was the answer? People who are sitting on the right side, they said, we believe in God, we believe in God, we believe in God. And people who are sitting on the left, they started saying, we don't believe in God, we don't believe in God, we don't believe in God. And the sadhu said, half of the people on the right side, you believe in God, talk to the people on the left side who don't believe in God, and you discuss about the God. What is the purpose of me coming here and sitting and speaking about God? And again he leaves. Looks like a very funny story, but gives a very, very important and pertinent lesson for our life. And what is that? So this clearly explains our faith in God is based on either some situation or maximum some sentiments. And what is the situation? In this situation, if the situation demands you to say that I believe in God, and we don't mind saying I believe in God, if the situation demands you that to say I don't believe in God, and you don't mind saying I don't believe in God, this is not the faith what we are looking for. But unfortunately, our faith in God depends on some situation or some sentiments. What are the sentiments? Another story I'll tell you. One of my friend, he was in an interview. So he was in an interview, and the interviewer arrived, and people, many students, hundreds of students, they were waiting for their opportunity to go and be a part of the interview. And suddenly, one of my friend, he got up and he started searching for kumkum. All of you know that this red color bindi, kumkum. So he was completely hasty and confused, and he's just searching everywhere in the college. How do you get a kumkum in the college? But he was searching everywhere, and he started asking his friends, do you have kumkum? Do you have kumkum? And nobody had. And finally my friend called him, come here. What happened? Suddenly he wanted to have kumkum. Why? And he gave the reason that, did you notice the interviewer who came inside, he had kumkum. The interviewer had kumkum. If I have kumkum on my forehead, kumkum, matching, I'll get the job. That was his logic. So my friend asked, what if the other interviewers reject you because you are putting kumkum on your forehead? Again, the point here is, if the situation demands you to say that I am a believer in God, I don't mind saying that. If the situation demands not to say, and we say yes, I don't believe in God. That is a problem. Or maximum, either our faith in God is based on situation or maximum sentiments. And what is a sentiment? And what we have learnt about God is from our grandmother and grandfather, that too while eating or while sleeping. So our grandmothers, they have told stories about Ramayana and Mahabharata. It is a bedtime stories. It is famous as bedtime stories. So when we hear stories during our bedtime, can that give us sufficient faith to believe in God? No. I'll tell you my own experience. One time in my family, every Ganesha Chaturthi, every month, my mother would go to Ganapati temple. And she would force me that you should come to the temple, you should come to the temple. And I said, yes, I'll come at the end. Why? Because I get some prasad. She said, no, you should come exactly during the Mangal Arati time. You should take Arati, offer pranams to Ganapati. There was Shiva and Krishna, many gods. So offer your pranams, take prasad and then come. So you should come for Mahamangal Arati. And I asked her one question. I will do what you say. I will come to the temple as per your request, but on one condition. She said, what is that condition? You need to answer my question. If you answer my question properly, then I will definitely come and do whatever you say. And she said, go on. My question was, why do we perform Arati in the temple? What is the significance of Arati? That was my first inquiry about God, about spirituality. You know what was the answer? The answer which my mother gave discouraged me completely to continue the process of spirituality. I asked, what was the question? What is the purpose of doing Arati? My mother said, shh, don't ask such stupid questions to elders. Friends, this is what is happening in the current world, where people, the youngsters, they have inquisitiveness, they want to know the reality, but the elders have no capacity to satisfy them with answers. And from today onwards, we are going to learn answers for all these questions. So, the point here is, should our faith in God be based on some situations or some sentiments? Or our faith in God should be based on some sound logic and reasoning? I guess, I hope all of you want some sound logic and reasoning to believe in God and to know about the existence of God. So let us explore the logic and reasoning about the existence of God. Let us take a small break and come back.